Hello, my name is Danny Gallagher, and I'm the CEO of Process for Growth Consulting. Process for Growth is about our business model. How do we function as FAs? That is, how does an FA act day to day to run a successful business? Successful in the sense of how do we meet the new challenges in an ever-changing market? Now, there are four basic functions of an FA: investment management, relationship management, operations, and business development. How much time do you generally spend on each one of these functions over a long period of time? You can think about that on your own. But for me, after asking hundreds of FAs, the general response is 40% on relationship and investment management, 10% on business development and operations. Now, that's generally speaking. The only number I find hard to believe is the 10% on business development. With 80% of FAs not opening up a new relationship worth over $250,000 in a year, and that's every year, I would say we do not spend 10% of our time on business development. Given that transparency is driving down our fees, business development, net new asset, is now the most important functions we do if we want to maintain our lifestyles. Change is happening at an ever-increasing rate, and we are in fact now creating 2.5 quintillion bytes of data every day. Now that's a lot. How much? It means we have created 90% of all data existing in the world today in the last 2 years, and 95% of all the data in the last 3 years. And on August 16, 2017 was an historic day. It was historic because data surpassed oil as the most valuable commodity in the world for the first time ever. Every aspect of our lives is changing, and the financial services industry is also experiencing many disruptive technologies that is driving changes to all our business models. No one is immune, and that includes all of us. We are faced with changes on so many fronts that we gave a name to this catch-all of technology, FinTech. Given the complexity and the number of threats we face, there are over 15,000 finance startups. And given the fact that we run highly nuanced business models, the issue becomes, what do we actually focus on? So we know we have to change. The only question we have to answer is, how do we change? In building a business model in times of great change, in which multiple functions must be integrated and mastered, the question is, what should we focus on? In other words, how should we change? I like to think about issues like this in terms of, what do I need to solve for? What do I have clarity about to give me direction? We can never be certain of the future, so what we do believe that we have clarity on is important. With that thought, I wrote down what I believe that I have clarity on. Always remembering that our business model must be adaptable and flexible to react to any new threats or challenges or change of circumstance. With great clarity, I believe we will have fee compression, and that we'll need to manage a lot more assets if we want to maintain our lifestyle. We will experience higher attrition rates with our clientele, and we will be forced to a more transparent pricing structure. Transparency means the need for designations, and our ability to affiliate with centers of expertise will be critical. Also, we will develop the future business model through practical experience and trial by error. Today we, FAs, we're at the top of the mountain. Whether you're a senior financial advisor or a baby broker, on a team or an individual producer, in the business for 25 years or 5 months, have a CFP, CIMA, CRPC, or have no designation, run an investment model or not, we are the premium pricers in our business. We are on top of the mountain. Now, with the business that is in a transition phase, there's a general perception that we no longer are value add for the fees that we charge, and that there are effective alternative methods of investing that don't entail using an advisor. I work with 11 different firms, and listening to the different managements, there's a feeling that we will maintain our premium pricing because we are holistic wealth managers. We are in what they call the fourth quadrant. Where I agree with the vision intellectually and philosophically, and we need to continue to work towards this model, I believe that this model is many iterations into the future. A holistic wealth management business to me is an offering that includes investment, tax, and estate planning advice, and I just don't see that kind of integrated offering by us in the near future. So that leaves us, how do we add value in today's world as we transition from one mountaintop to the new mountaintop? I believe we have to think through two main continuums of change. First, moving our skill sets from a broker, financial advisor, to a holistic wealth manager with the proper designations. I believe this will take 10 years for us in the industry to attain the status of holistic wealth managers. Doesn't mean that some of us are not wealth managers today, or that others employ some of the skill sets of a wealth manager, but on the whole, 99% of our revenues that we generate today come from investments. This 10-year journey we must start today, and PFG teaches many strategies to assist you along the way. Next, we live in a world where our value proposition is being questioned. This is a real and immediate threat, and we must adapt our business model and our investment process so we can not only maintain our asset base but grow it substantially. We have to move now, as the great movement of money that we are experiencing will pass us by. Every FA must build out their platform, so it seems logical that first we must identify every plank on our platform, then standardize each segment as much as possible. This will free us to concentrate on the most important thing in a relationship, meeting all our clients' needs and goals. PFGCs have tried to identify the planks of our platform that we need to develop and standardize. Senior financial advisor is a skill set. It has nothing to do with how long you're in the business or how much revenue you produce. A defined wealth management process allows us to understand and address all clients' needs and goals. Discovery allows us to identify all our clients' needs and goals. Centers of expertise allows us to deliver all the strategies for our clients' needs and goals. A standardized investment process allows us to manage far more assets effectively and efficiently while giving us the opportunity to affiliate with others. The discretionary platform allows us to rebalance our clients' portfolios in a timely fashion. And if we can't tell our clients and prospects who we are, what we do, and how we do it, how can our clients and prospects have clarity about our capabilities? Every plank on the platform supports the other. Now I'm going to compare us against Apple. Why Apple? Well, who's the premium pricer in technology? Apple is. Who's the premium pricer in the financial service industry? We are. Let's look at Apple. Android versus iOS. The operating platforms are the two main competitors. Android has 84% market share of devices versus Apple with 14%. Yet 88% of apps are built first for iOS, not for Android. The average app on iOS earns over $52, while the average app on Android earns a little over $5. Which one do you want to be? 78% of all online sales happen on an iOS device, not on an Android device. Why? With 84% market share, you should be the dominant player. But Apple has built a defined, standardized platform that makes it easier for multiple experts, programmers, and entities, companies, to affiliate with Apple's platform. Nobody pays attention when Apple announces about 2 weeks after the launch of a software update that 98 to 99% of all Apple devices, over 1.2 billion in the world, are now updated. This is Apple's competitive advantage. One platform standardized for the experts, apps, and retail sales to work with Apple. There are over 25 different Androids. They are not standardized. We must standardize our processes, our platform, so that we may affiliate with multiple experts so we can maintain our premium pricing. Mentally and practically, we must move from the lone wolf, the type A personality. I do it myself. They are my relationship, to an interconnected, interdependent network of relationships to bring your clientele all the possible strategies to assist your clients in meeting their needs and goals. We know we cannot possibly represent and deliver all the financial services and products that we offer to assist our clients. So it's incumbent on us, not the firms, to integrate all the relevant centers of expertise into our business models by identifying the centers of expertise, engaging them, and developing a standardized process of engagement. Our value proposition that has been essentially in place for 40 to 50 years is under attack as clients no longer perceive that they need us to manage their assets, or at least they do not have to pay us as much money as they have in the past for this service. The next 5 years will be a critical time for all of us. I wish I could tell you that I have a magic bullet that will allow you to maintain your pricing, but in reality, our fees are going to compress. Whether they go down 10, 20, 30, 40, or 50%, I am not certain. But with great clarity, I believe our fees will compress. The lesson here is that we need to control what we can and try not to waste time on what cannot be accomplished. What we can control is getting more assets under management with the knowledge that there will be fee compression. And how much the fees compress will be our guidepost for how much assets we need under management. PFGC clients all now have the goal of $1 billion in assets. This is the first slide I built around 15 years ago as I started thinking on how we needed to restructure our business model. If we were going to increase business development as a percent of our business model to 25%, where is the time going to come from? So how to reduce the time we spend on investments, 40%, standardization. To build a standardized investment process, it must have at least 3 attributes. It must be definable. What do I mean by definable? We need to be able to explain to a client or prospect, this is my investment philosophy, and this is how I execute against my philosophy. It has to be repeatable. It means that your investment philosophy is applicable to a large portion of your clientele. From experience, I can tell you it's almost impossible to apply one model to all your clients, but we have developed strategies to cover 60, 70, 80% with your investment philosophy. Scalable is simple. We must be on a discretionary platform. In today's world of global 24/7 and millions of picosecond trading, how can we claim to be efficient and effective financial advisors if it takes us months to rebalance our book of business? We can't. All assets are good assets. What is important is how do we manage those assets. I believe the firms are wrong on account size, and this will prove out over the next few years. A team interviewed me to engage me and said that since they couldn't handle all their assets, their strategy was to get rid of some of their assets. What did I think of that? I asked them, what is the hardest thing to do in our business in your opinion? They said, well, get net new assets. I said, I agree. So your business model today does not allow you to effectively and efficiently manage all your assets. So the plan is to get rid of those assets, the same assets that you feel are the hardest thing to actually acquire. So my question to you is, why don't you change your business model to effectively and efficiently manage more assets? Standardizing your investment process, I have found, is terrifying for most of us. Today, we invest everybody's money a little bit differently. When you go from everyone is customized to a specific model for the first time, where you can be held accountable, it is terrifying. I have found that my clients don't understand basic modeling concepts. We have not worked with analytics on our portfolio. Why should we? All our portfolios are different. And we don't work with comparison analysis. What I mean is, this is my investment strategy versus the one you are currently in and the difference between the two. And finally, we don't know how to sell a standardized investment model. When we move to a model, you must understand that your model becomes an integral part of your value proposition. It becomes a weapon, and weapons can be honed. A honed weapon in the hands of an articulate FA is dangerous and effective against the mismatched business models that we employ today. We are facing a tidal wave of change in all aspects of our life. We see it every day. Uber versus yellow cabs, Amazon versus retail stores, AI versus spreadsheet, robots versus human workers. PFGC believes that we need to employ a new type of sales cycle in this new world. The new sales cycle I heard on an HBR podcast. The professor actually used enterprise-wide software like Salesforce and an individual financial plan. Highly complex solutions that involve multiple concepts, centers of expertise, and meetings to arrive at a proper solution. I know I research everything online before I buy. I mean everything. So if you have a new prospect, isn't it reasonable for us to assume that the prospect has done some research online on the possible solutions available to them and now come to the table with an opinion? As HBR pointed out, the prospect's opinion could be based on good information, bad information, or misinformation. It actually doesn't matter. What matters is that the prospect has an opinion. In other words, if a prospect has researched the markets and the different available solutions and now comes to the table with a different solution than the one you are proffering, we have an issue. The solution is rejected. HBR concludes that fully 50% of the sales cycles needs to be spent on telling the prospect why we invest the way we do, not on how we invest. So we start with the why, and we have an open, honest, and transparent and professional discussion with the prospect. All this is taught by PFGC. This is a short intro into PFGC. There is much more, as all our clients' actions are interdependent and interconnected, and there is nothing that is a throwaway, and everything we do and say counts. If you're interested in further exploring PFGC, you can reach out and I will allow you access to other webinars that talk about these subjects in far greater detail. One last thought. Time is a factor, as our world is already changing rapidly, and this is an issue for all of us because change is difficult for all human beings. It is said that 97% of change comes through fear, 2% because we have to, 1% because we think it's a good idea. We should be afraid, but we also should recognize the opportunity of a lifetime that is now staring us in the face. It is your business. It is your choice. It is your future. One left-footed step per day.